hot minute, and I came back, and everyone was telling me about this sponsor thing, right? And like the only sponsors I know are commercial sponsors, professional sports and things of that. So I'm like Vince. But it's this cultural phenomenon, and everyone has an opinion on it, you know. And so my thing is it a problem? Is it an issue, or should people just mind their own business?
It's not an issue as far as I'm concerned. It's a person's choice. It's someone's decision. It's for some people, it's a technique of survival. So who am I to sit here and judge? I don't know the stuff that most of these girls who have sponsors or the other way around have been through in their lives for them to get to that point whereby they say, I'm gonna have this person just not for any other, say maybe emotional tie or any other thing, but as a sponsor, because it's termed a sponsor because this person is like the person who finances your ship. So for me, it's like I'm in no place. I have no right to judge you as a person for decisions that you decided to make on how you want to live your life. It's just not in my place, and I will never have a right.
No, so you just sit and wait it.
Just carry on. Okay,
what are the reasons people are against sponsors? Like against the relationship?
I don't care about it. Have a sponsor, don't have. That's on you. I only think the bigger question, I guess, would be, are you comfortable with it? Are you comfortable letting your parents, your mother, your father know that you're doing this? Are you comfortable letting your child, are you okay with it? Are you okay with it personally? What is the reason behind it? Why can't you do it yourself? Why can't you go out there and, I don't know.
Make your mullah.
What's banning you?
But how many things are you comfortable letting your parents do?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Wow.
That you do.
Mom, Dad. Before you let society judge, you have to judge yourself.
Okay.
So, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, if it's just to maintain a lifestyle, that's the wrong reason. If it's actively like I need to feed kids or I need to pay rent, I need to pay school fees, something. Like do it for the right reason, not just to sustain a lifestyle that you can't ideally sustain yourself.
So there's a right reason, like say you decide to hook.
But what is a sponsor? What is
exactly.
It's someone who's just giving
a sponsor
money.
is a means to an end. And that's what I feel like. Even
to what end?
To what end? Whatever you're trying to. People out here paying school fees, man. And I mean, it's just another.
Hustle.
Yeah, it's just a hustle. I feel like, and if you're in the hustle, you just better be smart about it. I feel like if you're doing it, at the end of the day, like just be smart about it. If you feel like this is how you're going to achieve your goals, everyone has different ways of thinking about or solving their problems. People have different ways of doing these things. So if you feel like that's how you want to go down, personally, let me think about it. If probably I had someone sponsoring me, let's see.
My man.
Do you think it's bad? No. Do you due for service? Yes. So I mean, it's a win-win at the end of the day. I mean, whatever, man. But at the end of the day, like, just don't get lost in like your reasons should not be so superficial. Like, say you've just seen someone, like, I've seen her with a new phone, say we're in high school together, and I'm like, hey, yo, so what do you do?
New bae, who this?
Like, I need to hook up. You introduce me to those people, but you lose yourself in whatever you're doing. Because I think this thing as well, it's just because nowadays, like, the society has become everything you do is exposed. It's out there, and people talk about it more, interaction and everything, and you feel like it's not a new thing, man. It's not new. It's always been there.
And can I add on to your point? I feel like the name or the idea of sponsors being convoluted. Like, what is it? Is it Lash who is sitting in my house and then I send her money shopping to go do her nails? Is it Lush who's also working?
Are you my boyfriend?
Yeah, I guess. And I'm giving her money to upkeep herself, and just because I want to, not because I want to be a sponsor. Like, what is a sponsor? I think is.
But I think a sponsor, like, you both know the reasons as to why you're in this situation. So I've come to you because maybe I want you for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm gonna give you this in return. I'll give you X amount of money. I think to me, you're defining someone who's...
Are we having a physical thing based because of...
It could have different variations on sponsors, because I feel sometimes it could be a case of, I probably don't, maybe I'm not looking for your body, I just want your company. I have an event, I want a pretty lady, a handsome gentleman, you know, to be with me, to be present with me. But I ain't looking for any of that. But there's some that cross over. And I think, personally, a sponsor has a right. If he wants your body, is he paying your rent? Is he giving you money? Because, yeah, it is high-class prostitution. So for me, I have a major problem with it. I think it's a bad culture. Like, if my husband, like, I'm married and then my husband's sponsoring another babe, oh, it's fire. No,
Even you don't change.
why?
But they're single.
I mean, if it's single, but you know, I feel like I find sponsors tend to be married individuals, okay? For me, that is my view. And that is, I feel like if someone's a sponsor and they're single, I look at it more like on an escort basis. Maybe I need you for different purposes. But a sponsor is 9 out of 10 is a married individual. So they have a wife, they have a child or children, and then they take this girl or woman and they house her, they give her a car, they pay her rent. Why shouldn't he demand for any more? He's doing pretty much everything. If he takes everything that he's offering you and you've made that person everything that you have is because of that person. If he takes what he's offering you, then you feel like you have nothing. Yeah. So I think it's ridiculous to me. To me, it is high-class prostitution. Simple as that.
So sponsor relationships are cross-generation relationships, like old guys, young guys?
Yeah,
or
for the most
I
part.
think that's what has made it bad.
Yeah.
Because it's the old guys, young girls. But if this guy is single and he's doing it to someone who's like his age bracket, so that's like what you're saying, like an ends for means. Because I think even classic relationships used to be like that, like the man provides. So right now, since we could switch, like the man provides or the woman provides, so either of them can become a sponsor in this relationship. It changes the ballgame.
But I think if you're a sponsor, I believe you've had that conversation. I believe that, you know, you've had this conversation of what's going to go on in the transaction. So I'm sponsoring you. In return, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z, and then this is what you're going to give me. You don't probably sign a physical contract, but you sign a verbal contract, and it can change in an instance because I can find another hot young man and replace you because I've gotten what I want from you, and I move on. I think if I'm doing it in a relationship, then I'm doing it out of love. I'm not obliged to. I'm doing it because I want to. But I think sponsor there's a transaction going on there, and you tend to be the person on the side. You know, they're the side chick or the side dude, whatever. But I feel obviously most a sponsor situation tends to be, again, more associated with men rather than it being a woman sponsoring.
No.
You'd be surprised. Just
You'd be
men
surprised.
can't talk about it.
Yeah,
I guess.
For some reason.
Carrie, you wanted to say something?
I agree with I lost my point now. I actually agree with what Lush said, that there has to be a conversation around being a sponsor.
Oh, beforehand.
Beforehand. Yeah. You know, I think that Alan was sort of saying that, you know, like relationships have changed. But when you're a sponsor and a sponsoree, there's an actual conversation of like, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. And I've had someone approach me with that conversation. They're like, this is what's going to happen. I will give you whatever car you want. I will give you a fully furnished apartment. I will give you 100 G's a month. I come by Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Come out.
But everywhere.
You know, and I sat there.
Just getting it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now you're Uber
You
everywhere.
know, and I can understand, like you said, it's a survival thing. Like, if I was at a place where that decision made sense to me, I would have been like, wait a minute, you know?
Why not?
Wait, it didn't make sense?
It did make sense to me. No, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Actually, no. What if I decide Monday I don't feel like it, I have a headache?
Was he good looking?
It's a
Take
complicated
80K
scenario, but I'm
Can I get a discount?
So there has to be an actual conversation between like the sponsor and the sponsoree of like, this is what I'm giving, this is what I'm getting.
You don't feel like
It's not more assumed.
You don't feel like that's too mechanical?
Yeah, that's too
That
simple.
is a typical
But even if you are
sponsor
supposed to-
situation.
Imagine like at the end of it, yeah, this arrangement, yeah. So there's gonna be a point where the nigga has to
Oh, you know, I decide.
close the shelf, yeah. So
But-
now
Go on.
it's too mechanical, like you know Monday, you're like wow. Today's
I have to go to
Exam.
close it.
Yeah, you know, like Monday, because I feel like at times you just meet someone, you're like, yo, yeah, you can't bag this one. Let me show you. Let me show you what I do it. My grandfather's ID. I'm going to a car. You're like you go all out, and maybe you didn't even mean it. And in the end, you find yourself like in this situation where you're like a quote unquote sponsor.
But in that moment that you've decided to pull these things out, is what I'm saying. When you start to put money on the table, not actually let me take you out, we enjoy this together. When you're already putting money out and you're saying this is what I have to offer you, you're already having a transactional conversation.
Yes, and it means the day it actually runs out, it means me and you have nothing else to talk about.
Is it expressively stated?
Yeah, it's not.
Let me.
It's obvious.
It also by conduct, it just happens. Like,
Why don't you guys tell us from your perspective?
No, Linda, listen.
How does it go about when you guys
there's no
approach a
formula.
mama?
I feel like it's an assumed thing, and it will be a scenario where Kare, after we finish whatever it is, is happening. Yeah, you will ask me. You'll ask me for money. You'll say I'm going to Art Life Plaza. I want to go to Backyard Shoes. I want to. And Pesa comes in.
A question. If you didn't have what you have to give me, do you think you and I would be
Hey, my
Hey,
friend.
you too.
as a sponsor, quote unquote? Do you think you and I would actually be having that conversation?
That's a good one.
No.
That's
That's a good question.
But you see, it's also assumed that the sponsor has to have nothing else to offer, like your.
But
your
it's based
RD,
off
your
of
body.
that. No, but it's based off
know.
of that. The minute you do not have, I do not have any use for you financially, and you cannot provide for me anymore, I am entitled to move forward.
But I think all relationships get terminated when you're not like mutually helping each other. It's like symbiotic.
On so many levels,
That's right.
Alan, on so many levels, but this is purely on a financial level.
I think
That's my point.
I was going to ask you. So you said, so you meet a fine young lady, and you decide you're gonna give her what title deed, whatever. So let me ask you, when you were thinking like, when someone is thinking like that, aren't they thinking on a sponsor level? Like, for me to get this girl, I have to do something that is enticing, but means I will lose out financially, but I get her. And what if she doesn't want you, but you offer that she comes to you? The minute that goes away, she disappears. So that means the only reason that she found you attractive was what you offered financially.
Exactly.
But it's
Can I
survival
help you out for a bit, just for your answer?
Please do.
Like, you know, finances doesn't have to be a car title deed. Me entering Vineyard and pillaging you with shots.
I'm gonna use that one.
Mama.
It's the end goal is still the same. The end goal is I want lush.
But then I
How
see
I
you
go
as
about
being
it.
beautiful rather than.
Yeah,
But
no.
that's a regular Friday night for mamas in Nairobi. Can I start with that?
You might be
Actually, not all.
offending a lot
But
of
that's a
people.
regular. Like,
Can I ask something? So say you are all career and you are offered that. whatever she was offered. If you were in Carrie's position, you were offered that package.
And negotiate.
Yeah, would you take it?
Yeah, think about it twice. We negotiate. Like maybe Fridays.
No, for Tuesdays I'll be doing 80k.
80k.
Friday since it's
Also, your price would change
Yeah,
on a
price
daily
would
basis.
and we jump a need and
So it's flat rate of 100 a month.
It's flat rate.
Yeah, 100 a month.
And that's you can
Each
really
Monday, one
negotiate.
for Friday.
What made you turn away the offer? You're like,
I said no, I went up. I was like, okay, 250.
oh, you
Like, number one, if you're gonna try and sell my goods, I need you to honor my word. If I'm gonna put a price on it, if I'm gonna put a price on it, you better be paying me something that I'm like, okay. And so we bargained a little bit. It was never serious. I was like, there's no way I'm taking you up on this offer. Like, first of all, how am I explaining to my family where all of these things are?
Magic.
But back to the question. Okay, so you would negotiate.
No, I'll probably you don't let me tell you.
Okay.
And you see, you're going back to what you said, my family, what would I tell them?
Yeah.
But I'm not at a place where I needed that. What I'm saying is, if you're at a place where, like Jackie was saying, survival, I was comfortable enough to turn away that offer, but I was playfully wanting to see how far because I've never actually had someone approach me like that, like point blank.
I think this whole sponsorship in any business, we're just trying to cover up what is prostitution. It's just
That's what I said. It's high class for prostitution.
You're just out here hooking, and you want to call it something else. It's like an arrangement. You're being paid. And
You're providing a service.
Service crew.
Those things attached.
It's just hooking. It's just sugarcoating it.
Right.
People out here hooking.
If you're not number one if you're not the main number one, known by family, known by friends, known by if you're someone in publicly, like you're known by everyone, and then I get into the situation where I know, like, so for instance, it's a minister. He contacts me or what have you, and I know he's got a wife so I know I'm going into this maybe because I want a deal or I need to come up business-wise. There's so many stories about people who have really business that has just shooted up, and you're wondering how, and then stories come up about the man behind the woman, or vice versa, the woman behind the man. So I think, like, it's always, if you are not the main person, you should question why you're in it, like, genuinely.
I guess judged.
Yeah,
Of course.
yes, harshly.
Okay,
For
can
me,
you finish the question?
Sorry.
Sorry, please go on.
Thank you. I guess judged more harshly. Is that even correct English? But anyway, harsher than women in that same instance.
You mean, are you talking between male and female?
Yeah, like sponsor. Like now you're my sponsor.
Okay. So am I being judged as a woman more than as a woman?
is the man being judged more?
I mean, I would question your manhood.
I think women just have the.
Yes, I would question his manhood.
Women just judge more.
I think
Please,
manhood
come to my
is too
head.
far.
Anything sexual.
Why does he need a woman to keep him up?
Because a man is who should keep you up.
No, not necessarily. But why can't he keep himself up? Because naturally, as a person, as a female, it should be the other way. It's not common. Like a man
Should be.
No, it should. It should. For instance, a man was created to provide. That's just me. It's just how I feel. If you don't like it, don't like it, innit? But I'm not gonna even quote scripture. I don't need to. Whoever's watching this video knows scripture. But for me, I think like a man shouldn't need a woman to upkeep himself. Like I wouldn't even find you attractive. I'd be like,
Definitely, guys are judged more if
So
you
you
have
actually
someone
accept-
who's sponsoring
okay, I
you,
will accept it.
because technically it's supposed to be the not supposed. Listen, please forgive.
My mouth is full of water.
What if you're a performer?
Not supposed
A
to be,
performer?
but it seems okay to the eyes of other people. It feels okay.
The court of public
Society
opinion.
has made it acceptable because of how it looks, because initially it's men who provide for the most part. So when you sit down and say, this chick is sponsoring me, she's paying for my bills and doing all of this stuff for me, and for you people look at you like, what's wrong with you? You must have something is totally wrong with you. You're not okay, you know, as a man. Yeah.
For me, I don't treat either differently. May I just state that? Like this, the same way a woman, I would judge a woman and the man the same way. But however, do what you gotta do, whatever keeps you happy. If you're morally okay and correct with that, cool. For me, I would never sponsor someone and I would never be a sponsor. That's just my view. I haven't got a price. My price is moral. Like my morals are important.
Impeccable.
Yeah. On the
I feel.
situationship about like what's it called? The woman supporting the guy. Like it's not actually supporting. Like this guy is earning the money through the service he's doing. So you're like a performer. Like you go, you dance somewhere, and then you get paid for it. You go home. So like you're going to this dance and getting your money's worth off of it.
So male gigolo.
Yeah, male gigolo.
If you were given the offer, would you take it?
Yeah, for 300.
Do what you gotta do, whatever keeps you happy. If you're morally okay and correct with that, cool. For me, I would never sponsor someone and I would never be a sponsor. That's just my view. I haven't got a price. My price is moral. Like my morals are important.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
Medical cover.
Coverage, by the way.
It's a medical cover.
Yeah, you forgot a few things there.
You know, but I think at the end of the day, it's just about like what she's saying, it's about morality.
Yeah.
What do you hold? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it boils down to morality. Like, if you want to engage as an adult, consenting adult, and you're just two people, you probably feel like you wanna sell yourself some money. Your morals, your I don't know, you and your God, if you believe in any. Like you just do you. If you feel you're satisfied and okay with it, at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be in that range.
If you can sleep at night, that's all I can say.
Even there are people who don't sleep at night because maybe my son who can't sleep at night because he's hungry. Who can't sleep at night
Let me ask you. So if you had a child, a daughter.
Don't go there.
No. If you had a daughter and she came up to you and said that she was offered, let's just go with Kari's offer. What would be your advice?
Oh, to kill the guy first.
What is his name? What is it?
It's your boy. It's a loose I killed dead.
Wait.
It's a sort of an upbringing type of thing, because most of these people who have sponsors, not to stereotype them, that's not what I'm doing by the way, not to stereotype them, they come from a certain place, you know, they have gone through certain things that have led them to making certain decisions that are not, maybe not so pleasant to normal people, but it's a type of upbringing. Definitely, Lash, I know when you bring up your kid, that's not gonna be even something that they can grow up to become. You get what I'm saying? So it comes all the way to where you're from. And we can sit down and actually judge these people from a nutshell, from what we see, from how we just look at them and say, oh, she has a sponsor, she's nasty, and all of that stuff. But it's not even like that. There's a rooted cause. It starts from way beyond
Our own understanding.
what we can see.
Yeah.
And we will never sit here and say, you understand this person and the decision. You know, there's some chicks who are running around here with very old guys. You know, deep down, she's disgusted. I'm sorry, I've done social research.
Oh, I thought she was gonna. I was waiting. Like, are you sure?
I've done social research.
It's unfiltered.
And most of this is in town, Coast, Mombasa.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to 9-year-olds who have pimps, who sleep with men who are 40 years and above, and they're 11 years. That's pedophilia.
No,
It's even illegal.
You think
So-
it's like a normal hell for people like us?
So-
like we go to the same place.
For
You're not going to
us,
help for
Thinking.
starters.
for them, it's a normal thing
Yeah.
because they grew up when she became 11 years old.
Yeah.
Her sister used to be pimped out by the mom. Her cousins were pimped out by their grandmother. You know, and they'd go and stand at the beach and just wait for the pimp to bring them some old guy to sleep with. Deep down, they're disgusted. They don't want to do this, but do they really know any other way?
They don't even know how to get out
They
of that
don't even
situation.
know how to get out of it. They can't even sit here and say, I know any other life, I know any other way to fend for myself as a person. So they just grow up in this
Cycle.
It becomes an addiction at some point. It's addictive. And for me, it's for these people, really, we can't sit here and judge them.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
yeah,
we can do
absolutely.
is-
You're absolutely right.
What we can do is, as a person, always try to progress in things that make you feel better about yourself. If you want to move forward, if you want to grow in some things that you feel like you're not financially capable of doing as a person, there's something called hard work. And
Man.
it's instilled in some sort of upbringing when you're being brought up and you see your parents. Like me, my mom taught me how to make money. How to make money I have learned from her because I have seen her have nothing and I have seen her have a lot. So for me, from where I'm sitting, it's like I can't go and look for a sponsor. For what reason? You know, I saw my mom not coming from not having anything at all to having all of this, and it was as a result of hard work, dedication, persistence, and all of that. So when a person does not know better from what they have seen in their upbringing, it really doesn't. It's a cycle. It's an endless cycle of that will keep occurring.
Kumbaya.
Deep.
I want to differentiate. I think that there are people who grow up in that, and then there are those superficial people who want to feed into a lifestyle. Back
Yeah.
into that social media conversation.
Yeah.
There are people that want to live the Kim Kardashian life, but you're not even in LA. Like you're in Nairobi. Like relax, chill.
Yeah.
With the
You know,
dust.
you know what's here, right? Like it's so dusty. You're just like relax. Like you know your place. You don't need to have these things to prove that your life is successful. But I do understand that we need to have empathy when we're talking about these things
Yeah.
and not sit here just pointing fingers and judging and really being understanding. Like whether it's a low self-esteem issue, whether it's a you know, not really knowing what you should be doing in life, like whatever it is, like we need to come at it with empathy. But also, sex work is the oldest profession there is in the entire world.
Yeah, it
You know, and
existed.
will always be there in some form or the other. It's just evolved. So yeah.
And just to add on to you, I want us to, okay, judge is the wrong word, but not only judge the sponsoree, but the sponsor itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
The person actually
Doing,
Also
offering
needs
that
to be accountable.
opportunity to happen.
Maybe it doesn't have the.
It's whatever it is, but you still need to be accountable for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
falls
but a
on the
lot of it
woman.
falls on the
on
sponsoree,
the recipient.
on the recipient of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
rather than the person actually
Absolutely.
initiating or
That's
doing
so
it.
true.
Yeah.
But wait, if
They
it's
do
a
share
situ-
some blame.
they do share some blame if it's that scenario where she's underage. But if she consents, like you know, like let's say this guy is at a particular point in his life where
And
he
then
wants-
we're saying
What's
in terms of how they're judged.
they're
I
not
feel
judged.
like the
We're saying the
recipient
woman
is judged
over the
more
recipient.
Yeah.
Than the person
than the person
offering.
who's offering this.
Because that
Yeah.
can be a problem too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they should be judged.
At 11, there's no consent.
No,
my dear.
11.
At 11, no, I'm saying
Yeah.
at 11, that's sick.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
If you're an adult and you have understood the terms, the T and C's, the terms and conditions, and you've said yes, I'm happy, and you're okay with it,
then
do what you
sure.
gotta do. Because at the end of the day, we all have choices. We chose to wake up and do whatever we needed to do. You choose what hustle you're okay with. There's some people who actually wake up, they look through their phone, let me call Ongui. Can you send me 5K? Then they call Mose. You know, that's their way of hustling,
Yeah.
and they're okay with that. Me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be okay with it. And if someone's happy with it, live your life. But I agree with Ongui, the person offering that opportunity,
Shares that link.
especially if you're in a relationship and you're in a marriage relationship and you have children, you have daughters who might be offered that same thing you're offering to another
And
girl.
you might have sons who will offer that.
That's all I'm gonna say. I think I'll end it there.
Yeah.
But like, I personally think I wish it could end, but I don't think it will.
It's not gonna end. Yeah.
So, but guys, I think 300k was the starting price?
Yeah, 300, say, man. But it depends on the car. The car is more expensive to maintain than 300.
It's fair to
But
say.
do maintenance on the car.
Exactly,
Like,
I'm like, there's so many factors.
It's fair to say that everyone has a price.
Yeah.
Everyone has a price?
Everyone has a price.
Everybody does.
Everybody has a price.
Mr. Price.
Wow.
Kill that mosquito. It's a wrap.